Okay, we are recording. Welcome to our Monday night Dream Team call. We're starting this one a little earlier, hoping this works out for everyone's schedule. If it does not, please let me know if it's going to be a problem all the time. That way we can switch it back to 9 o'clock. But I thought it'd be nice to be able to jump off here a little earlier. And then if there's ever calls at 9 o'clock with Fit Fighter Nation, we can try to get on those, things like that. But first, I want to go over some important dates that are coming up. So if you've got your calendars or you've got a piece of paper and you can write these down, this Saturday, there is Sparta training that Julie Borez is putting on, and Jericho is going to be there, which is super awesome. She is also going to be leading a live workout. And then after the training and the workout, Fit Fighter Nation is going to have a lunch. So if you can make it to that, definitely try. I will be going. So if there's anyone from this area that would like to catch a ride, you're more than welcome to ride with me. I have plenty of seats in my car. And then on the 20th of this month, we are having a hangout. And it's just a hangout for our team, just kind of socialize and get to know each other, things like that. Bree posted that information on the Dream Team. So you can check that out if you want more information on that. The 23rd is going to be the sneak peek. That's Fit Fighter Nation sneak peek, and we're just doing it with them again this month. That worked out well last month, and I think we had a lot of new coaches due to that, so we're just going to stick with them, and we may go back to doing them on our own or do them with Courtney's team eventually, but for right now, we're just going to stick with Fit Fighter Nation. On April the 9th is Super Sunday, April the 9th. If you have not purchased your ticket yet, please get it. It's actually going to be on this side of the river, the Indiana side of the river this time, which is nice for us, not to have to travel across the bridge. And it's going to be at Kai's. Erin is going to be there, which is going to be fun. She's going to be doing the training, and she's going to be doing the live workout also. And myself, Lord help me, myself and Casey Withers are going to be on stage with her doing that live workout. So that should be fun. So if you can show up, I would love to see some familiar faces because it's going to be insanity that we're doing. So we will see how that goes. And then at the end of April, is our Punta Cana trip for anyone that's joining us for that Success Club trip. I see Christy on here. I know she's going and Bree's going, and then we have a bunch of other coaches that are going to be joining us. So, and then keep an eye on your email too if you're on the wait list for that trip, because I've been seeing a lot of people are starting to get off of that wait list. And why that is because it's getting close to the date and people are realizing for whatever reason they can't swing the trip and they're canceling and people are getting off the wait list. So, someone just the other day on Fit Fighter Nation got off. I can't remember. But anyway, so keep your eye on your email if you are on that wait list. And then I have a few shout outs for tonight. Our coaches of the week, which were Brett and Sarah. So congratulations to those two who are working their butts off. And then those that are going live on our team page or sharing tips on our team page, those have been super helpful. So I appreciate that. We have one coach, which is Sarah, again, who has hit Success Club this month. And she's already at Success Club 10. So congratulations on that. And little birdie told me that we might have a rank advancement on Thursday. But I'll wait till Thursday to announce that. So we have some rock stars that are doing some awesome things on our team and super exciting. So that's all of the shout outs that I have for this month, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on the content of our call. So if you want to take notes, I have a lot of information to share. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about tonight is finding prospects, how to find prospects, and how not to be a shark, because I was a shark when I started this business, and especially with all the new coaches we have on this team, I don't want anyone to fall into that and to be that way. And I want to start out by saying, just because you know a lot of people does not mean that you're going to be successful in this business. Vice versa. If you don't know a lot of people, that doesn't mean that you can't be successful in this business. It has nothing to do with the amount of people that you know. And I think a lot of times that's a hesitation for people signing up to be coaches because they think I don't know anyone or everyone I know already knows a Beachbody coach. You've heard the whole spiel. So Just because you have a lot of friends might mean that you're successful right now, but eventually it's not going to end up being that, because eventually everyone on your social media page is going to know exactly what you are doing. And that's why it is so important for us to always and constantly be finding new people to talk to. And that might be on social media, that might be in person, but it's a skill. It's a skill that we have to acquire, and a skill that we have to, if we're not naturally good at that, it's something we have to learn and something that we have to work on if we want to be successful in our business. How to talk to people, how to make new friends, how to meet new people. It's just going to be a part of this job that we call it. And you have, hi Bree, and we have to, I lost my place, sorry. And you have to start with a list. So if you do not have a list, it is so important for you right now to get that list going. I did not have a list for several months when I started, and it hurt me because I had to go back then and start my list, and that took a lot of time. So right now, start your list. If you're 3 years into coaching, start your list today if you don't have one. If you're 3 days into coaching and you don't have a list, start a list now. You have to have a list, and you have to be continually adding to your list all the time. And the way you're going to be adding to that list is, like I just said, the new people that you meet all the time. So I've got 4 steps that I've wrote down here to help you with adding to your list before we kind of start talking about how to invite those people off of your list. Step number 1 is to include, when you start this list, when you start to write down your names, include every single person that you can think of in your head. Every person I want you to put on this list. It doesn't matter if you think they're going to be interested in joining you or not. You are not allowed to prejudge in this business, and it's something you will learn, because you will prejudge people and you will learn they will be your top coach, or they will be the challenger that has lost the most weight and you did not expect it at all, or those that you sign up and you think they're going to take off, they don't take off. So you cannot prejudge anyone. Add everyone to this list, whether you think they are interested or not. It doesn't matter if they are your best friend. It doesn't matter at this point if it's someone you can't stand right now. You add them to your list. It doesn't matter if they're 100 years old. It doesn't matter if they're 18 years old. Add that person to your list. And you have to add those people to your list because it's going to open up doors to other people when you start writing these names down. When you write down your grandma's name, your grandma might not be interested, but maybe the person that comes and clean her house then comes to your head, and you can invite that person. So it's important for you just to also empty your mind so that you're not constantly thinking, oh, this person might be interested, or this person. Write down everyone that you can think of, and then those names, like I said, are going to trigger other people. And when you're writing this down, think back to all those groups. If you were in band in high school, write down every single band friend that you had in high school. If you're in a sorority in college, write down all your friends that you were in that sorority with. If you're in a church group, write down those people in that church group. If your kids are in softball or basketball, write down the moms, other names of the moms that are in there. So that's a good way to kind of get that list started. Tip number 2. And this is kind of what we just talked about as far as it's going to trigger your other connections. But after tip number 1, number 2, I want you to look at your list, and I want you to think of the people that they know. I'm sure you've all heard of the 6 degrees of separation. We're all 6 people away from, knowing each other and coming back to each other. So think of, and I do this on social media. I go into my brother's friends list, and I start friending his friends on social media. I start friending my husband's coworkers on social media, and then I add them to my list. Friends from college, their friends, I'll start adding them as friends on social media and then adding them to my list. So once you've got your list of people, then I want you to start thinking about the people that they know. Tip number 3, you have to constantly add. It needs to be something you do every single day. You have to add 2 to 3 people to your list every day. Now, When you add them, that doesn't mean that you message them and you invite them to your accountability group. You're just adding them as a friend that day. And I heard this quote actually today and wrote it down because I thought it went really well with our call. Dig your well before you are thirsty. And I think that is exactly what we are doing. We are digging our well by adding all of these people to our social media as contacts before we decide to invite them and talk to them. And just when you're constantly adding 2 or 3 new people, it doesn't always have to be on Facebook. You have to get out there and you have to live your life too. If you're hiding under a rock, you're not going to meet these new people. You have to get out and do things. If someone invites you to the movies, go to the movies. If someone invites you over to a cookout, go to a cookout. When you do that, you're going to make new friends and you're going to be introduced to new people, but you have to raise your awareness. I know Sarah posted in our group the other day about how she met those new people at that conference that she was at, and she was aware of the fact she was meeting new people and she's adding them to her contact list. She wasn't just, oh, here's people that I'm sitting with at a table, and then she went about her day. I mean, she was aware of the fact these are new people and these are new contacts that I'm meeting. You have to think about that. When you're sitting at your daughter's gymnastics lessons, think about that mom that you're talking about, talking to, not about. Don't talk about her, you'll get in trouble. The mom that you're talking, gymnastics moms do that sometimes. Think about that and think about adding them to your contacts and get to know them and talk to them. You are never, I promise you, if you do these things, you will never run out of people to talk to. I've been doing this for 4 years now and have not ran out of people to talk to. If you continually add to your list, you will not run out. And tip number 4 is to network on purpose. And this kind of goes, I kind of skipped to this one, but again, it's hard to meet new people if you're hiding. You have to get out there and you have to network and you have to meet those new people. You have to go to church gatherings. You have to go to whatever it happens to be and start adding those people. So those are kind of tips on building that list and creating that list. So now I'm going to give you some tips and talk a little bit about inviting. When I started, and I'm going to go back and talk about my weaknesses. When I started as a coach, I invited every single person I knew that liked or commented or anything on my post. I just invited. I didn't get to know them. I didn't send them a message and build a relationship with them. I just shot them my spill right off. Here's what I've got to offer. Here's what it is. Do you want it? It worked a little bit. It worked obviously some. I had some people sign up, but it doesn't work as well as what I am doing now, which is building those relationships. And you legitimately are going to feel like a hunter. You're going to feel like you're out there hunting for people to join you and to sign up in your accountability group and to buy your products, if you do it that way. And a book I'm reading right now, GoPro. I'm not sure if anyone's read GoPro, but it talks about that you have to be farmers and not hunters. You have to build those relationships. You have to build the friendships. You have to build the trust. You do not want to immediately send someone your invite. You want to build those relationships. And your goal when you start talking to someone should not be to sign them up in your challenge group. Your goal should be to build a friendship with them and to educate them on what you have to offer. Because when you start to build a friendship with someone, then it's going to come out what they need help with. You're going to learn where their struggles are, and you're really going to learn it because they know what you do, and they're going to start talking about it. That's when you need to start educating them about what you have to offer to them. Teach them what you have to offer. Don't just start inviting them to accountability groups and inviting them to drink Shakeology and things like that. You can't, and this was kind of the title of our call, you can't be a shark. You have to be a coach. You have to be a friend to them. You have to build relationships, and you have to tell them what's going to solve their problems. Christine, I'm cracking up at your girly there. She is so cute. But do not send them a pitch. Send them an invite. And here, I've got a few more little tips here on how to do that, on how to make sure that you're sending them an invite and not a pitch whenever you talk to them. So tip number 1 invite them to these sneak peeks, like our coach sneak peek, if it's a coach prospects. Invite them to watch your video. If you created a video for Aaron, if you're in that group, then invite them to watch your video. Invite them to our Super Sundays and our Super Saturdays. Those aren't just for coaches. You can invite clients to that. So invite them to there. When you have personal interaction with these people, or get on the phone and talk to them, invite them to a phone conversation. When you have personal interactions with these people, it creates trust with them. They're going to start to trust you, and they're going to start to see what this business truly is. Tip number 2, use the tools in the back office. The videos that are on YouTube of all of our programs and things like that, use those videos and invite them to watch the videos. I rarely ever invite someone to join my challenge group at this point. I invite them to watch this video. Hey, do you have if we start talking about goals, then I say, hey, do you have 2 minutes where you can watch this video? I invite them to watch the video. And then I follow up with them, and that's tip number 3, follow up with the invite to the challenge group or the invite to join you. Those back office tools, honestly, and using those videos have absolutely changed how many people sign up with me, because it gives them something exciting to watch. It gets them excited about the program, and it just gives them a look at it more than what I can explain it. I can say, yes, this is what Turbo Fire is. It looks like this, and the programs are 30 minutes long and blah, blah, blah. But what's going to get them excited is watching that video. That's going to make them want to join you and going to make them want to try it. So use those and use those to help invite them to watch those. And then one more thing I want to talk about. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're okay. One more thing I want to talk about is your emotions inviting. And this is something else I stole out of GoPro and I really like. So 4 rules when it comes to your emotions of inviting. And this is probably the hardest one, especially for coaches, because I feel like we all have huge servants' hearts and we just want to help people. We just want to help them, and we just want them to feel the way that we're feeling. We just want them to say yes. But you have to emotionally detach yourself from the outcome of what they're going to say, because you're going to get a lot of no's. It's just going to happen. And there's a lot of times that we have little competitions where we see how many no's we can get, because we know if we get 10 no's, we're probably going to get a yes too. The more no's you get, the more yeses you get. So emotionally detach yourself from that outcome and make it your goal, like I said earlier, to educate them, to educate the people you're talking about on how to help others. When you go into that conversation, it's not about getting more Success Club points, and it's not about getting more commission. It's not about getting a new customer. It's about educating them. It's about listening to them. It's about becoming a friend. It's about not being a hunter and not being a shark. So detach yourself and know that it's going to be okay if they say no, because as we all know, eventually they're going to say yes, because that's just what happens. Tip number 2, be yourself. You have to be authentic when you're inviting, and you have to be you. It cannot be copy and pasted, scripted. Now, I use a script. However, I make it my own. I make it myself. I reword it, I retype it, and I make it sound like me. If I say, hey, girl, then guess what? In my message to them, it's going to say, hey, girl. I make it me. You have to be authentic. I always envision when I'm having these conversations and I'm talking to people and I'm talking about their goals, that I'm talking to my best friend. That is always what is going through my head when I'm having conversations with people. I always imagine it is my best friend sitting on the other side of that phone or the other side of that computer, and that's who I'm having the conversation with. And that makes me be more authentic, and it helps me to be more of myself. Just make sure you don't turn into someone else whenever you're doing this. Don't copy and paste. Don't get so, I hate to say uptight, but uptight and scared or worried about what they're going to say that you turn it into a salesperson. You just have to be yourself, sharing something that you love, which goes to tip number 3. You have to be passionate. And when you are passionate, make sure that you don't what we call word vomit, because that was also something as a new coach that I did a lot of. Because we are so passionate. Whenever someone says yes, we just want to share everything in the world that we know about it, because we just love it so much. So don't do that, but you have to be enthusiastic, and you have to be excited, because that's gonna go off to them. I mean, that's gonna rub off on them. So whenever you're inviting someone, and these are just little things I do. I smile when I'm talking to them. I play music whenever I am inviting, something to get me in a good mood, because sometimes I just need that kind of booster in my mood to get me ready, because sometimes it can be exhausting to invite people, especially if you hear a lot of no's. So turn that music on and make sure you're smiling. A lot of times I'll go outside during the day and sit, if I'm working during the day, and invite, get some sunshine, just something to boost that mood before you start inviting, and to get your energy flowing a little bit. And then my last tip for you on your emotions of inviting is have a strong posture. And what I mean by that is you have to be bold, you have to be confident, and you have to be strong in your inviting. You have to know what you're talking about, and you do not apologize at any point in your invite. If someone says it's just too expensive, you do not say, I am sorry. You do not apologize, because you believe in these products and you know that it is worth every single penny that you are paying for it. But when you start apologizing, then they don't believe that you are confident enough in the product to say, yeah, I get it, I understand. And that's what I say a lot of times. I get it, I understand. I felt the same way. But once you try this for 1 month, you are going to believe in it as much as I do, or whatever it happens to be. Just don't say I'm sorry and don't apologize, because that right there shows that you're not confident about it, and that you don't 100% believe in the product. So that is a huge tip I have, is do not apologize. And I think most of our apologizing comes with the Shakeology price is what it comes with. So don't apologize. Those are all of the tips that I have for you guys tonight. I ended on good time. So I am going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to open it up for any questions you guys might have.